welcome to TIA Talks. My name is Jason and I'm joined by John and Carolyn from the latest episode of The Insurance Apprentice, live now on SABC3 at 7 p.m. on Thursdays. Welcome, guys, and thank you for joining me. It's so awkward doing these conversations because it's always the eliminator dude and the judge.
The eliminator.
The eliminator. There we go. But welcome, guys.
Sure.
Carolyn, I want to start with you, actually. Just maybe give us a little bit of background on who you are and what you do.
Cool, thanks, Jason. So I work at Old Mutual Insure. I look after product underwriting and pricing in our retail division. So it's your smaller risks below 70 million. I'm an actuary.
Smaller, below 70 million.
so I'm an actuary by profession. So yeah, TV side is not
but you were good
ideally
on TV,
where
eh?
I'd find myself.
I thought you were great on TV. Actuary with the personality, that's new.
Yeah. So
Sure.
So that's came through pricing and now looking after that product and underwriting space.
Sure. And at OMI, hey?
Yeah.
Okay. John, is that just your full name, John?
John Beetha.
It's not Jonathan.
No.
Okay, just John.
Full name John.
Okay, nice. John, tell us a bit about you and just your profession, because I don't know if the viewers picked up on TIA, but you not technically like in boots on the ground insurance.
Sure.
You know, you behind the scenes and do a little bit of other stuff. So what do you do?
Okay, I'm at Mirabilis. We're actually getting a name change now.
Oh, cool.
Soon to be Santam Construction and Engineering. And I'm an accountant at Mirabilis, and I look after, basic accounting, income statement, reporting.
Sure.
And yeah.
No product.
No product.
And also, you're in a very niche UMA. We spoke about UMAs in the last episode. Yeah. But the UMA space they're basically all niche kind of insurers.
Yeah.
And not only that you don't have access or exposure to all the other products out there.
Sure.
You're literally in a niche product place, you know.
Niche focus.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and I actually enjoyed last week's episode. I think I got to learn a lot about what the UMA space is about. Obviously, Mirabilis is no longer UMA, fully acquired by Santam, and we've been rolled in. So Mirabilis is no longer UMA.
Okay.
But yeah, it was very insightful. Yeah,
that does happen often though. UMAs get kind of, they transition into the insurance space.
Sure.
And I think sometimes it's the skills that they bring in, not just the product, you know. And that says a lot about what your team does too, you know, not just the guys that sell the product like myself.
Sure.
But you might have seen my name on one of your commission statements. I don't know.
I have some JVC brokers.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that.
Sure.
Okay, but for those of you, the guys that didn't watch the show, it was, I say that this in every episode, but I find that every episode is one of my favorite episodes. It's always just getting better and better. And I actually said this before the Wheel of Fate came out, but it was kind of an action-packed episode. There was a lot of drama, and I'm not a huge fan of just drama. It was really cool to see the dynamics in the teams, because this was really set up, I feel, by the judges. I feel like it was so set up by the producers, Renette and Ryan. I think it was set up. Yeah. And I want to kind of get a little bit of insight to both, like on the behind the scenes and from the, in the front, in front of the presentation. Carolyn, how did you guys come up with that wheel, firstly? Because you guys sponsored the task, OMI sponsored the task, and it was a brilliant task, I must say. It was, I love it when innovation has to be like the call, because I think that in general, the insurance industry is quite innovative. Compared to the rest of the kind of industries out there, I feel like we've got a lot of innovation happening at the moment. And companies are innovative, not just products. So how did you kind of find this task or come up with this task, and then also just the wheel, and where did that come from? Because that, you saw the reactions.
Yeah, so I guess we started we had the product idea. We actually had a few things that we wanted to possibly get you to draw out a hat or something. And then I think we came with, it's on TV.
Yeah,
we need to come with this game show element. And then it was actually more Renette that came with a bit of spice at the end to say, well, we could have this one segment that had dismissed on it, and we could see how that works out.
And it was landed on twice. So that's not even, you can't plan that. You can't plan that. Did you guys, and this is a question I want to ask, did you guys know that it was going to be a prank? before?
No.
Okay.
We didn't. I think Simon left it a lot of unscripted and went forward. And I think he was still working out how they were going to get down to their final numbers.
Yeah.
And it just worked out perfectly for him.
Yeah, I think the contestants actually reacted in the right way.
Yes.
Because I would have backed them. I would have probably stopped watching if someone was dismissed because of a wheel. And Simon actually said it in his feedback. He said he's not going to just get rid of someone who's the top talent in the insurance industry that we are showcasing at the moment. And all 6 of you guys are good ambassadors for the insurance industry already, So I think... Yeah, I'm glad he said that, because afterwards you guys were all shattered. Oh my word. I mean, how did you feel, John?
I think I was, if anything, I was panicking, because I think the first spin, I'm not sure if it was the first spin or the second.
Yeah.
I was eliminated just on the spin alone. So in my mind, I thought, this is it. I'm leaving because of a wheel. And I think in hindsight, I'm just grateful that it was a prank, because for a moment there, I thought we were gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it not only that, but like the way that the teams were set up initially as well. You, Ayanda, and Darius, 2 very strong competitors with you. How did you feel getting into that group? And then, because I was a little bit confused. Who was the leader of the group?
So the leader of the group in the task was Darius.
Okay.
And
But then why were you going for the wheel? Did you step up to that?
Yeah, I think we discussed it, because we were asked, each of you needs to decide who in the team is going to spin the wheel. So I thought maybe let me spin the wheel.
Did you actually? So you said, "Can I spin the wheel?"
Yeah. I actually offered to spin the wheel, but then I realized that the person spinning the wheel is. I think there was a catch to it. I just can't quite remember, but there was a downside to spinning the wheel, and that actually I wasn't happy about that, because I think when I decided to spin the wheel, I didn't quite understand the implications of what spinning the wheel meant. But
and then Darius then jumped in and said no.
Yeah,
or did you guys discuss that first?
I think that is when I'm just trying to remember what the issue was. But then when I realized that, I think we discussed it, and Darius offered. Well, I thought from a risk management perspective, I thought, sure.
Might as well.
Might as well.
And then it lands twice on Yokes, because he's not going to get rid of himself. Okay, so that makes sense. Speaking of how you felt, okay, I want to actually ask the guys behind the scenes. Dylan, one of the guys that helped me out here at the podcast, shout out to you, man. Dill, I want you to pull up a picture of John, just quickly, please. There we go, on the left-hand side, John. Okay, so this is Key and Peele. I don't know if you know them.
I know them. I love them.
This was when I saw you on TV for the first time. I was like, this man's reactions look just like the guy on the left. I don't know which one's Key and which one's Peele. But come on.
I think Key's the one on the left with the bald head.
Oh, well, then you Key. Then you Key.
Keegan,
Is it Keegan?
Yeah,
so you know them well.
I know them well. I follow their skits. They're hilarious. They're funny. Yeah.
So his reactions reminded me of your reactions.
Really?
And we'll see it, I'm sure, there's lots of stuff that will still come out. And I'm sure we'll see a couple of your reaction videos.
Yeah.
But you looked like a deer in headlights a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Was it just because of shocking, or were you trying to process, or?
I don't think it's me. I think we should thank Ryan for that. Ryan, if you're watching.
Yeah, because I never picked it up in real life.
Sure. Yeah. Look, but I mean, that's the thing with being on camera.
Yeah.
It's only when you get to see yourself on camera, you ask yourself, is this how I actually behave? Like,
I realized I was fat on camera. I was like, when I looked at my stuff, I was like, oh my goodness, I need to drop some kgs. Exactly. I think every episode I've made a promise to one of the guests that I'm going to get ripped. And it hasn't happened. I still got, I think, 2 months from last season or something that I did promise the viewers.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll do a shirtless photo shoot or something.
Oh, look, on that note, going into TIA, I actually went to the gym hard before TIA.
Really? That's
just to look good, But after that, I think once TIA was over, I stopped. And I've actually put on weight now.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, man. So you're going to look worse now on this camera.
I think so.
Yeah.
So I think people might look at me and feel, but he's a bit bigger than he is.
You can tell them the depression of getting eliminated just led you to eat.
So,
So that's fine. Yeah. I actually did that when I entered. I said to myself, I'm going to try and freak out the guests, the other contestants. And I'm going to go to gym every day at 5 o'clock at the place where we were staying.
Sure.
And I trained and I invited every contestant every single day, and not one joined me.
Really?
And
Yeah.
I just wanted to see who's going to wake up at 5 to join me. And I felt like I was the buffest I've been when I actually entered at TIA. And that was like probably a good extra kg of muscle.
Sure.
But it did help. It was, did you train during the week or?
A lot. I think myself, Darius, Donovan. And
So you actually had friends in the
Yeah,
job.
with Kaya as well. We did hit one or two sessions, and they were good.
Yeah.
Great way to bond outside of the show, and yeah, we enjoyed it.
Well, you needed the bonding time, I guess, because now that you got eliminated by your mate, Darius.
Yeah.
Tell me how you felt about that, because I'm going to get to the judge's decision as well, because you scored somebody on 0, which evidently must have been John.
I'm sure.
But unfortunately, that's
it
unfortunate.
is what it is.
I'm pretty sure there have been a few that were very close.
Yeah.
I mean, our season also, Knox said a very similar thing. So I wouldn't take that to heart. I saw the task, and honestly, John, you were in deep water from the start, just with your skill set and what you do.
Sure.
But you showed that you can still swim in that deep water.
Yeah.
Throughout the competition, you really, really were consistent. And I took a lot away from you, because I've got a lot of guys that are very similar positions, in similar positions to you, that I know and I've networked with. And you guys are doing the hard graft behind the scenes, actuaries and accountants and all sorts of guys that we never speak to.
Sure.
We don't even bring it up. And honestly, you represented those guys very well, John, I must say. You and Shiara both did a very good job to show people that the expertise outside of the actual product is actually way, way more important than any of us realized. So kudos to you, my man.
Thanks a lot. I think that's a lot of the feedback that I'm getting, that you should be proud of how far you've come.
They copied me.
Yeah. So being that you're an accountant, and I'm just grateful for the experience.
Yeah. No, that's very cool. Carolyn, the task itself, there were a few obviously emotions that you witnessed. And I mean, being somebody who is also behind the scenes actually at the insurer, and how did you feel about John's performance overall, actually, and not just the task? I'm pretty sure as a sponsor, you guys do have a little bit of information, but John as a person and knowing him and on the day, were there any kind words that you could maybe just help a brother out here, how did you feel about his performance specifically?
Yeah, no, I think what you're saying is right. It's like, and the show just tests all aspects of the industry. And it's so tough to find an individual who's actually had enough exposure to all of those elements to be able to perform in each of the tasks. So well done for being out of your depth. So just on that 0. So obviously Knox scored, and I had never got to see
You looked shocked, sitting next to them.
But if I look at that argument between Knox and Simon on who they were backing, or who was the lowest performer, Knox was actually not talking about you.
Oh, wow.
She was talking about Ayanda.
Okay.
Because I think you kind of stepped in out of your comfort zone and tried to answer. And obviously you guys, it sounded like you didn't have much discussion before to prep you for it. So it was kind of all raw and trying to step out. But he kind of backed away. So if you listen to the conversation between Simon and Knox, it's actually Simon didn't like your answers, but it wasn't
Knox.
you that was getting a 0.
Sure. John, that's news to you.
It is.
And how do you feel?
Look,
We're getting live reaction on TIA Talks right now.
I'm indifferent. I wish I'd gotten through, but look, in hindsight,
I'm indifferent.
At the moment, I am.
But I think
obviously what's happened has happened. I think I'd feel better if we rewind time and then you let me go through. But it's good to hear that. It's actually reassuring. I'm actually not happy that I didn't get through, but obviously, it's TIA, and the judges also look at, there's certain things that they will see that you wouldn't see as well. And otherwise, I'm happy with the outcome. The top 5, I think I did mention it even on LinkedIn. I'm happy. Either one of them, for me, in my opinion, they're a strong candidate. And if any one of them made it through, I'd be happy.
That's awesome, John. I think it's nice to hear that, because you could probably leave with like some sour feelings towards some people and towards the show, actually. And I'm glad that that's not come across. I think you hit the nail on the head. The TIA is a show at the end of the day too, and it's on TV now. So there's bound to be some weird and wonderful things that you kind of are going to have in a show, you know. That being said, Darius kicking you, that could have, you mentioned it could have been a political move, or it could have been just you were the weakest in his opinion.
Yeah.
I'll find out from him one day. Hopefully he gets eliminated soon. I don't know. You know, then I'll be able to ask him, because I really wanted to ask him, like, why? He said performance-based. You know, that was in the show. He said that. So, I mean, for you, is that how you felt around that?
Look, I think obviously from his standpoint, perhaps he looked at my performance and he thought there's one or two areas I could have, you know, come through better on. But I think if I had to make the decision, I wouldn't make it solely on merit, so to speak. So, look, I'm not saying what he's saying is true, but I think it's a competition, and I think I would play chess on that. I would look at who the stronger candidate is, eliminate them to make my job easier in the next round. Yeah. So I think that's how I would have played it.
I love that, yeah.
So maybe that's how he did play it. I don't know, but I guess... Look, you say he said it was all performance-based, but I think when he sits behind this mic,
he will explain. Yeah, I think it's a very difficult position to be in, to make the choice. We had it on our season. There were a couple of guys that had to make very difficult decisions. I think it was a few people saying that they're going to chop the head off the snake. You know, I remember those quotes coming out. Yeah. But I think that you handled yourself well.
Thanks.
And
Jason.
Looking back, I don't think there was an issue with who you were as a person or anything. I think there was some merit in there and some threat involved, and we'll just have to wait and see what the answer to that was, you know.
Yeah, but now that you mention it, to be fair, I think I watched the episode again last week, and yeah, to be fair, I think the other candidates did come through stronger. So yes, politics aside, I think there is merit in the judges' decisions. I think I could have come through a bit stronger. So I think that's what made me get eliminated last week.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to maybe just have a pause and maybe break for some coffee.
Sure.
Because I want to ask Carolyn specifically about the task and what you expected from the rest of the contestants. Yeah. So I think we'll be right back after this short coffee break. The insurance industry is changing fast. The way we work, the risks we face, and clients' expectations are evolving every single day. That's where Sapiens comes in. They're building cutting-edge technology that helps insurers stay ahead, streamlining processes, reducing inefficiencies, and making the entire experience smarter. If you're in the industry, this is the tech you need to know about. Learn more at sapiens.com. Your journey, and I want to hear a little bit about your reflection a little bit later on just maybe some of the growth that you've gone through since the show. But Carolyn, I promised everyone that we'd get into the task and just what that meant for OMI as the sponsor and just what that meant for you as a judge. So so you obviously had a few ideas, but now this was specific to a specific topic. What was that topic and what did you want to see?
Kind of how do we stay relevant and keep meeting the different customers' needs. And specifically a business like ours where we're trying to cater for all of those segments, the business insurance, the personal insurance, every income level in there. We're trying to move from that old traditional insurer that maybe took a lot of the large risks, but wasn't the sort of new tech savvy sort of company, and we're trying to kind of evolve to make sure that we are meeting all of those clients' needs. So it's something that's always sort of top of mind for me, is how to truly understand the client and bring something out there that really does meet their needs.
Yeah.
And then
that's how product development should be done.
Yes. So that's where we started. And there's a group of us sort of internally that try to put something together. And I think it was a good challenge for the teams in the end.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time we forget about the customer at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, did the guys actually take the customer in mind?
That was the bit that I was a bit disappointed in. Is I feel like it was thought of from a product. What can I give? And less so, less so of like, what does the person that we're talking about actually need? And going from that angle.
Yeah.
So I think there were some good ideas that came out, but I thought there would be more about the customer, understanding why we go to this advertising, why we say these things, because it'll talk to this client's need and where
so
they
you were
would
looking
be
for
and where
like
they would.
how to link that market segment to a specific media.
Yes, and a specific cover that you were giving, price element.
All of that kind of, it does make sense.
All the aspects.
Yeah.
Where people touched on bits of it, but I thought it would be kind of more holistic.
Yeah, sure. It's interesting because I think that's, like I mentioned earlier, it is how product development should be done. So you didn't only build the task around how can we show customers that we are innovative, but also you probably designed it with the thinking of showing them that you care. Because and I find that that's a common thing that people miss, looking at all the insurance jargon and the adverts that you see of all these guys and insurance companies on TV. It's pushed in your face, but often we're looking at product, where we're not actually saying, but I need this. What can you show me? And I think that's sometimes, and I've seen a common thread, we sometimes miss that in the brief.
Sure.
And I want to show the rest of the contestants that will enter the next season or the future seasons, just to know that the customer matters. And I mean, it's inbred in us, TCF, treat customers fairly. And it should be a part of our processes and our products, and naturally, it should form part of that. The guys that are doing it as a tick box, it's not on, so I think that's nice to know that you felt the same way, that it was missed. John, in the discussions, did you guys really think about the customer in this instance? Or was it really just about what kind of media are we going to use and what's the message?
And if I can recall correctly, we did think about the customer, especially given the insurance structure that we were trying to present to the judges, very unconventional. And it was centered around how communities, particularly in the lowest LSM, are structured. For example, if you go into a township, you'd find like a society, for example. That's a small little community. You go to, a football stadium, you'd find people gather around there. That's a small little community. We thought of it, given the solution that we were trying to present, we had those small communities in mind within the lower LSMs. But I mean, it looks like it didn't come through that way. And I think Knox did also, question, given that insurance is based on I think like she said, the law of large numbers, you need scale, right? In order for a product to be profitable. So I think in hindsight, might have been a novel idea, but perhaps that wasn't the right approach we should have taken given our target market. Yeah.
Jeez, John, I'm starting to think that you were one of the winners that got kicked out with all your answers. You really spot on, dude.
Sure.
I mean, I've seen dancing on the presentations. I've seen guys look like Key and Peele on the stage. I've seen a whole bunch of things.
Sure.
That was a great, well put. Yeah. And if it didn't come across, I think it is pressure. I mention it all the time, but the pressure, I think there's pressure on the judges also to judge something that they see for 10 minutes in front of them. And I don't think we actually give the judges enough grace on that because it's a quick decision. Yes, it takes a long time to make the decision of who goes home and to rate you and to give you marks out of whatever. But I really do think that that's a thing. The judges are under a lot of pressure, so they need to make their decision because the show needs to move on. You guys are under a lot of pressure because you've got 2 hours to kind of pull this thing out of wherever. And I think you can't touch on everything. You have to touch on what's most important. And I think that's the key for the next insurance apprentices, is really touch on what's important. Forget the jargon. You've got like 2 minutes to present. Just do it to the best of your ability and hope the judges like you. Bottom line.
Those key aspects need to come through in that short time you've got.
Sure. Yeah. And I know the judges walk around too. Okay. What did you see on your walkabouts, on your exercise for the day?
A lot of flustered contestants trying to pull something together. But I think that it's a very pressured environment. The time you've got to pull it together, you're not quite sure if you're in the right direction. And there was a lot involved, I think, in coming up with a concept and then still having to pull together the product, the advert, and your presentation around it. So your time is short to think up on the spot your idea.
Yeah, and I think it does mean that you won't get the best answer.
Yeah, no.
But you'll get enough of an answer to see how they've performed.
Yes.
And how they've understood maybe the task. Yeah, so TIA, if you need a new judge for any future episodes, my name is Jason Mizen, and I'm not only the TIA Talks host, I do other things too. Okay, so anyway, I always give myself a plug because I need an extra, whatever. Like, I like to keep busy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know that accountants like to stay behind their desk. I don't know, John. What do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun?
Or do you have fun, firstly?
I do have fun.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
What do you do?
Was that actually
I want to know, what do you do for fun? Well, I'm getting to know you.
So what I do for fun, I mean, I'm married, so I spend a lot of time with my wife.
Oh, I don't want to know.
Yeah. So I spend time with family, and
I didn't know you were married.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the ring. Yeah. Do you have kids?
I have a daughter.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh man, how old is she?
This year she's 13 years old.
13 years old.
Yeah.
Man, you're
Don't
a
ask me how
bully,
old I am.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying you're a bully. No, but you know what?
Sure.
I also picked up in the show. Everyone has a story.
Yeah.
And you know what? It makes you who you are today. And I don't think that anyone's story should be shunned aside and pushed aside. It should be heard, especially if you're trying to understand the person. And the people that don't want to listen to your story are the people that don't want to listen. And I think that's all understand. But yeah, that's tweetable. You can take that. Carolyn, last little question for you around the task specifically. But out of that task, did you see hope for the insurance industry? Did you see that there was actually like great minds thinking about cool things?
Definitely. I think both areas. So if I look at your side, you were thinking differently, which I liked. So yes, there were issues around the concentration risk and all of that, but just the fact that people are sitting and thinking differently is important, and we need to make sure that we keep giving that space, that we do then kind of take the time to come up with these sort of ideas. And the winning team as well, they sort of telematics, triggering the driver, trying to find ways around it. It is slightly different to our traditional telematics. And yeah, good to see that people are starting to think differently and bring that through.
I often see that we use ideas from TIA in the real world. I've seen one or two implemented already by Sazria and a few other guys in the industry. And it's actually quite heartwarming to see that the innovation from the show, from the contestants' minds, although it's not your IP anymore, unfortunately, it's in the public space now. But yeah,
but giving it a bit more time and thinking through more scenarios.
Let the experts take your idea and then put it in place.
Roll it forward.
I recall as we were entering, I think we signed away all our ideas.
Yes, It's one of those things. I mean, also just to point on that, I thought about it. I was like, okay, you have the idea, but where did that stem from, the task?
Sure.
Actually. So you had a problem, and generally that's how it would work in business.
Yeah.
You're trying to solve for a problem. And if you don't identify the problem, you will never have a solution. Bottom line. And I've seen it in strategy and business, whatever. You have to find the problem and also cater for that problem. And hearing what you said, maybe we missed catering for the actual problem.
Sure.
But we had a way of doing it, which was good, because I think we're harder on these contestants than previous years. I think we really are harsh on you as viewers, as people behind the scenes. Even the judges probably feel like Simon said he wants to shoot himself in the groin. I'm pretty sure he wants to take that statement back because it's harsh to say, and don't get me wrong. I mean, let the harsh words come. You guys signed up for it. Not only did you sign one of those rights away, I'm sure there were a couple of others. And being an accountant, you looked at all those details beforehand. I'm sure.
Sure did.
And many others, brokers look at details. Other guys, Anyway, but I just think that you guys you put under a lot of pressure. You don't have really a leg to stand on, but you guys flip and perform all the time, and I love it. And I think that's what we need. To show, people step up, they're consistent, they're there. And John, you were an absolute example of that. You showed up and you were consistent, and you shot the lights out, in my opinion, in a few episodes. And I'm pretty sure your teammates also knew that you were a threat.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, I think so. I think you realize with TIA, you can't write anyone off. Everyone stands a fair chance if you make it to the top 10. Yeah, everyone stands a chance. Everyone is a threat.
Yeah, I think top 10 level, it kind of levels out the playing field from there.
Yeah.
You're all going on the same level. And it's no one's better than the other. No one knows more than the other because you're all unique in that way. You know, like I said, your specialty and stuff. Carolyn, any advice you would give any guys that are possibly looking to enter TIA, or even guys that are in the insurance, and guys and girls, when I say guys, I mean everybody, that are in their industry or looking to get into the industry, just hopefuls, you know, what would you say to them? Looking back at the task, looking back at the competition, and just what these guys went through. Firstly, we can tell them, look, it's not that bad in real life, or it's not always that bad.
You won't be judged that harshly.
Yeah, you won't be judged. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, what advice would you give maybe a youngster coming through, or even someone that just wants a career change?
Yeah, so I think definitely get involved. I think what I've seen from specifically the Old Mutual Insure people that did make the top 10, I think they've had an incredible experience, got to know so many people. And I think the learning that you go through and kind of touching on all the elements is so useful to go on further. I think in the lead up, it's that networking or that within your business you need to do more of, because then you can get more exposure before you come in here and see the different products out there. Think of a few more of these elements and have those conversations that are going to help you through the insurance apprentice. So within your business as well, there's a wealth of resources that you could be tapping into, and just have those chats, have those coffee chats.
Yeah, build relationships.
See where you can get knowledge from everyone around you.
It's interesting you say that, because maybe you said it to a few people already, and that's why I've been getting calls. But a few future contestants, and this is a shout out to you guys that have been proactive in reaching out to some of the older contestants and other judges, because we're open to having conversations with you. I mean, a 10-minute, 15-minute phone call is not going to take much out of our day, and you might find it very valuable. So I would recommend building those relationships with ex-contestants, previous contestants, eliminated people, the eliminators. I think, that's great. I think the network prior and during those little elimination rounds that you're trying to get through, you also start to find your peers. You start to realize that you're not alone. Yeah, John? You weren't alone. Did you make some friends?
I agree with Carolyn. I think that's the best part for me. TIA, the networking, the people that you meet along the journey. And yeah, I think in hindsight for me, I think I'm deviating a bit from the question, but I think in hindsight for me, going into TIA, I wanted to win, right? You get there, you want to win the prizes, you want the top spot. But the catch is that is not how you win. It's almost like a dilemma. You want to win TIA, but the way to win it is not wanting to win it. It's almost like, because if I reflect back on TIA,
that was my next question. So go
sure. I might as well just get into it. But I think if I had to reflect back on TIA, the way to win is to let others win. Because let's just pause for a second.
That's tweetable.
Yeah, sure. Like and that, you know, I think it was Kyle. I had a text chat with Kyle, previous contestant, and he said
Kyle came second or third.
Sure. He said something powerful. He said TIA never leaves you, right? And I can agree. I don't think it will ever leave me, because it works the same way in corporate. You know, in corporate, everyone wants to win, everyone wants to move up the ladder, but that is not how you win. You have to learn how to. Winning is letting others win, and that is how, you know, it's like magic. When you let others win, it just works out for you. So if I had to go back and play differently, I think I would step back a bit more and then just let others win, help the team get the task right. And if you can do that well, then I think it always turns out well for you.
Spoken like a true future CEO. I've had CEOs on this podcast, and they've said one or two pearls of wisdom. And I think that is so true, John. And I respect you for saying that.
Sure.
I think that a lot of people go in to win. I did. I wanted to help people, so I wanted to change the face of the industry.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I wanted to make it or give it a little bit of a face.
Yeah.
And I tried with this, and this is it. But that, my friend, I love it.
Sure.
Everyone goes in to win that competition, but I think people forget it, and I love that. What would you leave to guys that are, I mean, you've said it already, but if anyone is entering now, or even guys that are just kind of moving on in their careers now, what would you say to them, just based on your experience at TIA, other than, helping others win?
Yeah.
Forget winning, just your experience in terms of your personal growth and where you're at as a person.
Yeah, I think it's three things that come to mind. Look, number one, TIA is a great way to get your name out there, and also meet others. Carolyn did mention it, the networking. I met some really awesome people along the way, and we're in touch. Not just the people in TIA for this year, but like previous contestants.
Guys in the industry now.
Sure. I mean, I've got your numbers as well, Jason. These are people. These are people who you can, meet up with at any time. You see them at industry events, and the relationship is there. So number one, the relationships. Number two, I would say TIA is like a mirror, right? It's a great way to see yourself, right? Like I said, you watch yourself on camera and you're like, is this how I actually behave, right?
Am I fat?
And also, like, for some, it might be, even myself, like character flaws, certain things you might need to work on. When you go through TIA, you're going to get to see where you're strong and what you need to work on. And for me, that is what I had the opportunity to see, like areas to work on. That's number two. So number two, it's a mirror. You get to see what you need to work on and where you're strong. But I think number three, and I'll bring it up again, you did mention it, but number three, definitely you learn to let others win. So if I had a chance to go back, I think that's what I would do differently. So yeah, get in there. And if you're thinking about it, I definitely encourage you, sign up for TIA, because those 3 points will, it's a great way to work on them.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that's, I don't want people to miss that. Personal growth is a thing with TIA. And if you get knocked out in round 1 or round 29 or whatever, however many there are, I'm pretty sure you'll grow, Carolyn, final question. I usually end the show by asking just what your passion or burden is for the industry, any change that you want to make in the industry, or that you need help to make. Maybe our listeners are some important people that could help you do that. Is there anything on your heart that you'd like to share just in the industry that you'd like to actually change for the better?
Sure.
Big question, I know.
Yeah. I think this adaptation to sort of the world we're going to, and I think obviously there's a lot of talk about AI and how that sort of takes over, but I think my burden or challenge at the moment is bridging that gap and making sure that the people that we've got in the industry kind of are still in a space where they are adding value and finding a home. And I think it's a lot of sort of reskilling that we're going to go through over the next few years. But there's kind of important input that people are putting in and making big changes. And we need to make sure that there's still that space for it. And how we bring AI in and still make it attractive to the client. And yes, it's got to be more efficient, but it still needs to be personalized, and making sure that we use the tech we now have available in the right way to really make the industry more attractive and more beneficial to the customers.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And that's the one side of AI I haven't heard being brought up in the show to kind of fix. And I love that. I dig it. John, I usually ask that question to the contestants, but you've said so much already that has blown me away, honestly. I want to end with a quote, actually, that I found, and maybe you can guess who this was. But sometimes you aim at the moon and reach the stars.
Sounds familiar.
That was you.
That was me, yeah.
Please say it for us, because I loved it.
Well, look, I mean, I think in closing, I said you need to aim for the stars, so that if you don't reach the stars, you land on the moon. But I took it a step further. I said I aimed into infinity, right? Because that's what the universe is. And in this case, I landed on the stars. So, yeah.
Shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot. And I tried to put a twist on that quote.
Yeah.
I'm not actually sure who said it. I'm not sure if you do know.
John Beetha.
There we go.
Thank you for joining us on TIA Talks. And thank you guys. It was awesome.
Thanks, Jason.